Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us on Asonye Live. It's always wonderful to know that you're back there. Today, we'll be delving into something very important. We'll be talking about steps we can take to ensure transparency and accountability within the Nigerian Public Service Institution, given the current statistics and data that indicates low level of trust in government officials. There's so much to discuss around there, enhancing accountability and transparency and performance within government or public office. In the studio to discuss all of this is Dr. M.D. Eseyin. He is the National President, POHAN, that's the Public Office Holders Association of Nigeria. He's also the President, PALMI, which is Pan-African Leadership and Management Institute. He's so much more. He's been working with government, and that's why he is the Public Office Holders Association of Nigeria. We'll get into all of that, but thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you for having me, and thank you, viewers.
Right. Now, we'll go for a very short break and return to discuss more about public service. How can we hold them accountable and ensure transparency and performance? We'll be back to discuss more, so stay with us. Welcome back from that very short break. Like I said earlier, we have Dr. M.D. Eseyin, National President, POHAN, that's the Public Office Holder Association of Nigeria. Thank you again for being part of the program. But
thank you.
Let's get into the crux of the matter. It's no news that Nigerians do not trust public office holders. It is often even said that public office holders are even more corrupt than any other sector in the country. So first of all, maybe you should break it down for us. Is it that Nigeria institutions has too many porous or loopholes that makes it a conduit pipe for corruption and fraud?
Anyway, I would like to correct one illusion that, in public service, when you say public service, what area of public service are we talking about? We have, I will help you.
Right.
Which area of public service are we talking about? Public service involved government offices. It also involves, non-governmental organizations like the churches, because they have to do with the masses, the people, and how to make their life better. And government is always talk about, have we delved into the life of people in public office like the pastors, like the churches? Are you getting what I'm saying? The NGOs are also part of public service. Public service is service to the people, welfare of the people. So I will want us to have, a general overview of every sector of public service. But I believe today you said talk about government offices.
Government offices, I think that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I understand, but I need to give that overview so that people
that when we talk public office,
public office is not limited to
government
office alone. No.
Right.
Public office have to do with people that have impact, or have to do with the custodian of public service to the masses. That is the essence of public service.
Right.
But the one that is that people usually talk about because they are voted in the office is public office, which is government. And like I said, government offices are basically for social welfare. That is the basis. The welfare of the people. That is the essential, essence of government.
Of course.
And security of life and properties. So, and all of this, if there are no template, there are no format, there is no how those people in those offices can work maximally, because they need to know why they are employed or why they are voted for or elected to be in that offices. So when those templates are not there, then they go there and do whatever they come in with. If anybody is asking that vote for me, I'm going to this office, have you asked, what are your manifestos? You understand? So when people are not interested in the manifesto, you vote,
or the blueprint of what that candidate is
of what
bringing.
They are going there for. You are voted for me because I'm giving you naira, probably 1,000 naira or 2,000 naira to get there. Then when I get there, I do whatever is expected or what I want to do to also recover those funds. So I think we need to start from there, getting it right. People deserve the government, the voting power. You understand? I cannot be accountable to you if you are not accountable to me.
Right.
So it is very important that we ensure that we get people in the right places.
But with what you just said, we have
Yes.
to go back to the electioneering process, because I've also conversed with several people who have gone into elections, and they tell you, gather people for a town hall to even tell them the plans you have.
It's not easy.
And they would tell you, thank you for calling us, but what then
Are
is
you
it
just
for
here
us?
to tell us? So what are we going
What
back
are we
up with?
going back with? So so what you're saying is it's still the people, the
Yes,
citizens,
yes,
the electorate,
yes.
who now embolden this
Embolden this public, there is what we call public trust.
Right.
So when there is no, when the elected people are the conscience of the people, but when the conscience is being bought, so what are they going there to do? So it still boils down to the fact that the electorates need to examine themselves to actually look at what they truly want from these people they want to elect into offices.
So is it possible to win an election in Nigeria without necessarily delving into the many, you know how it is now, Oga, sort us, if you really want to win?
It is not possible. I will use my state as a yardstick, which is Kogi. Election was done about 3 or 4 months ago. And there are some places where, in some polling unit, where they are dropping 1.5 for election of probably 100 people.
The 1.5 is for 100 people?
For a vote buying.
For just 100 people?
And some people are there without money to back up their agenda when they get to the offices. So you will not expect somebody that get to the office, you will not expect someone that get to the office with such money to do something for the people, because they believe that they have bought this vote and they need to recover the money spent,
during election.
During the election. So when you want the best from the elected officers, then we need to sit down and tell ourselves, what do we want? I think we need to start from there, than just putting the whole blame on on people that have been elected to the office. They go through.
Okay, so hypothetically speaking, let's say there's such a candidate.
Yes.
Who, if all candidates come together to say, you know what, we are not going to sort, we're not going to buy votes.
Yes.
There's not going to be financial inducement
yes.
during electioneering.
Electioneering, yes.
Do you think people would turn out?
Calling for a town hall alone and nothing to back it up. From there, in fact, when they notice that you are coming with money, they'll be working out on you.
I mean, if everybody decides to do the same, because this is a campaign we had over and over during elections. We don't have to hold these people and get funds from them now, so that we would have the moral standing to demand development, infrastructural development that we sought. So we talked about it.
Sadly, it's impossible.
Impossible?
It is impossible, because, when people don't get what they want in office, when they don't get what they want from the government they elected into power, they believe that in the next 4 years, so whatever they want to give me now before you enter to that office.
So how did we get ourselves to this point? Because in other climes, we see where people are so invested in your manifesto or blueprint, or however they will call it.
Manifesto, yeah.
So much so that they don't even want you to spend. They want to spend their monies to support this. They want people to vote you because they believe so much in what you've got to offer. How did we get it the other way around here in the country?
Sadly, we have come to a period whereby in the political system of the country, it is difficult to toe that line you just mentioned. It's difficult. Why? Because every sector, I'm talking about the system of government, are not working. So, and the genesis of this started from how we get them into offices. And they are now, banking on that, to improvise the people more. So that by the time they get highly impoverished, the time for election will come, whereby you can now get them money and get whatever you want again, and then disappear for another 4 years. So I think we can start by ensuring that the institutions of government are working. Security is very, very important.
But we also saw during the elections, it was obvious that some security agents or law enforcement agents were compromised.
Are they well kept? Are they well? Are they well catered for? We in our national item, they said the what's it called? They say that the heroes of our I mean, what is it called? The effort of our heroes past, right? Will not be in vain. But I want to tell you that the army, the security, police that are being killed unjustly, how are their family catered for after the husband depart? How are they catered for? So are you saying those people at the war front are not seeing what is happening to the family of the departed heroes? Are you getting it? So now they are now also looking for shortcut to also get whatever they can get. You understand? From the government.
It's a case of at all.
At all. Just give me whatever
I can
is
get
available
at the moment. Yeah.
at the moment. And that is the problem. Until when, if you go, there are some places you go to, probably, you don't get free services in the country. You don't. Even ordinarily moving on the road, asking people to show you the road, they will tell you anything for us. You understand? So we have gotten to that stage that I think we need to start to reorientate ourselves. You understand? To see reason why humanity should, come forth. You understand? To bear the burdens of some of those is not by giving sort me for this, sort me for that. No. Then where's our humanity? Where's our humanity?
Exactly.
We need to start from there. Total reorientations of the system. And to ensure that, and people usually talk when this is not working, they will say the president. When that is not working, they will say the what's it called? They will say the Senate president. That is not true. The president is not in all the ministry
ensuring that everything works.
It's not.
Ideally, these people should be just as
they should do the right thing.
Interested in
but
everybody getting the right
in that offices believe that they are being empowered, to get whatever they can get from that office, not minding the essence of why the office is created.
Wow, that's a very important.
Very, very, very difficult. Even the civil service, we have the public service, we have the civil service. Even the civil service too are not helping the matter. If you are creating an office for a civil service to work, they will first look at what they can get from that office before they even accept to go there and work. If you put it on the table that, okay, apply for Ministry of Information, for instance, to work, and CBN, you will see people going for CBN.
Because naturally, they just expect that there's more money.
There is more money there, and of course, they can embezzle money. You understand what I'm saying? So nobody wants to serve, to serve. Nobody wants to serve.
Okay, let's talk about POHAN. It's very important now that we talk about what your work really does. A lot of Nigerians have been wondering. I mean, with so much, it seems like you appoint somebody, you think the person follows the ideals of your party. I think that's what precipitates the appointment, isn't it? This person has worked hard for the party. This person is competent and is within our political party, so let's employ or appoint him in public offices, some of these public offices. Lately, names have been going back and forth. I'm not going to mention names, but names have been going back and forth. People riddled in alleged corruption reports. And I ask myself, what is POHAN doing? I mean, your organization, which is the Public Office Holders Association, I should expect there should be like a capacity building plan to say, as you're coming into public office, as you've just been appointed into public office, this is the way to go. This is what to do so that you're not culpable or inadvertently. I'm just saying in cases where people probably have good intentions. They do not have plans. They do not have plans to defraud. I'm saying, let's say you have good intentions. Because in the case of the former humanitarian minister, a lot of people will tell you she didn't know any better. She probably thought that was the way to go. The institution pressured her into that. But if there is such an association just as yours, there should be like, apart from the ministerial retreats.
Well, thank you for that point. I would like people to know, POHAN is just is a non-governmental organizations, but with the intention to ensure orientation and reorientations of public office holders. And some of our activities revolve around what you just mentioned, to ensure that the public office is held accountable, for why they are being, appointed. But sadly, nowadays, we discover that political appointments are based on patronage. Are based on patronage. They hardly appoint people based on merit. And that is where the problem usually comes from. When you are appointing me because I have served or have worked for you, probably contributed money to ensure that, okay, you get there.
You emerge.
I will naturally, expect that you reciprocate when you get to the office. That is the situation. So, and POHAN as a body, the only thing we can do is to encourage and then create capacity building to ensure that the right thing is done. Ethic of public service is expected to, to be upheld by the people, entrusted with those offices. We are doing our best. In June, for instance, we are having another program. Every June we have, because that is the year, that is the month of the World Public Service Day. Actually, June 23rd of every year is designated by United Nations for World Public Service Day. So, and for the past 2 or 3 years that POHAN came into existence, we have done a lot, having people talking about the essence of public service, as service to the people, service to the community, and service to self. And the point is to ensure that we harness all these, the capacity that individual can bring to the table. It is not by patronage. It shouldn't be by patronage. And we shall continue to ensure that that is done by our organizations. And we believe that, of course, the people that are entrusted in those offices will also listen to us and then do what is expected.
Is there anything that will ensure that they listen and they are compelled to listen?
That is the problem. In Nigeria, we do everything. Nigeria, we go to, we even obstruct traffic, and they believe that nothing will be done. What they will not do when they get to other crime. You see them perpetrating same in Nigeria, and nothing is done. Abuja, for instance, the traffic are not working. Even individuals engage in transportation, they park, unnecessarily on the road, and nothing is done. So when there is no consequences for our action, like the immediate past vice president says, that when there is no consequences for actions, corruption thrives. But when there is consequences, and people know that when they do this, something will be done, that will not be done. They will not hold that line. For instance, in Lagos, if you disobey traffic rules, your plate number is captured, and they send you an SMS.
Exactly.
You understand? So,
but I thought that was promised in the FCT. There was such a time we had the road safety people, road safety, Federal Road Safety Corps wearing body cams. And I remember a time when somebody was asking, I got somebody asking, can you review the cam to be sure that I indeed broke traffic laws? And they could not review the camera, and I could not stop laughing, because ideally when you include technology, it should be automatic. Yeah. It doesn't have human interference in it.
Yeah, because human interference in Nigeria is fraud.
Human interference in Nigeria is fraud.
Yes.
Wow.
It's fraud. In fact, not only in Nigeria, all over the world. That is why we say that the institutions will work. When the institutions work, it will just take its course naturally.
But you just mentioned how if there is no implication for or punitive measures set out, people are bound to disobey. What are we doing to ensure that?
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's only where the institutions of government works that there will be price for every action. Like you mentioned, like I mentioned earlier, in Lagos, if you are captured, you pay. Are you getting what I'm saying? If you disobey traffic rules and your plate number is captured, you pay. Like that, it is not public service that is in charge. It's a setting.
It's a setting.
Yes. If we are to be public service, of course, they will sort them. Okay, give me through a month, just go. Are you getting what I'm saying? So, but what they have done is systemic institution. And that's what I think we need in all our sector. That's what we need to make it work.
Okay, so when we talk about these systems,
Yes.
a lot of people will say, let's talk technology and digitalization.
Digitalization of economy,
What are we doing to ensure that? I mean, this government did not necessarily, I mean, I have followed the government, the Tinubu, Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu's administration. It didn't really talk much about the fight against corruption. However, we've all seen the obvious steps and efforts it's been making to ensure it curbs corruption with the appointment of the EFCC chair, the ICPC synergizing and all of that, and the investigation that precipitated the suspension of the former humanitarian.
I will give a pass mark to the
so
government.
far, you probably will.
Yes.
But what are we doing about technology and digitalization to be utilized to enhance transparency and accountability?
Well, I won't be able to speak for the government. But if I'm to advise...
in their body language, what have you seen?
In their body language, I think Tinubu government so far did not want to give rooms for complacency, by way of, unlike the past government of General Muhammadu Buhari, that even when there is insinuations that some people are corrupt, no action is taken. So what they have done to the Minister of Humanitarian, for instance, is a signal to anybody in public office that, look, if there is any allegation against you, you will leave that office until when you are proven to be otherwise before you are returned. When such measures are taken, people will be very careful. And again, those people in these offices, I mean the minister, should be very careful of the public service in those offices. Because if it's like a banana peel, they have a template before you come there. You understand? So if that template did not, go along with your own intention for that ministry, do not fall. It's a trap. That is why you see sometimes when they go to National Assembly with budget, you will see what they are presented probably 5-7 years ago, still repeating. Again, are we saying that there is nobody monitoring to as well that, okay, some things need to be expunged from the budget so that we have fresh budget.
And projects that should enact.
But, some people in that office, I don't want to indict anybody.
I mean, in those cases, what's your thoughts? Is it laziness to even look at the budget? Because ideally, you should look at the budget, look at what is contemporary. What do I want to fix come 2024? Not necessarily, just outright laziness, if you ask me. I mean, even if you want to be fraudulent, do you need to just pick up the budget from 2-3 years ago,
dust it
and then resend? I mean, that's ineptitude to the highest level, if you ask me.
Ineptitude. People don't want to work. They want to steal. They want to steal. They don't want to work. You understand? So laziness. And then, again, the engagement of public service, of civil service. How are they getting there? How are they being employed? There should be a performance indicator in every ministry to ensure that the employed staff is doing what is right. So when such are not done, then it will be by patronage. Like perhaps you are in the Ministry of Communication, for instance, and I have a younger brother somewhere, even though he's not qualified, I can just beg you, please let me put him there. Not minding if he's qualified or otherwise. I
mean, doctor, you know me and I know you.
Yes. So please just help me put.
But the thing is, irrespective of that happens all over the world.
Exactly.
But however, they insist on performance, skills, and what you've got. Are you qualified?
Qualified, yes.
So who should do this monitoring? It's one thing to say the EFCC, the ICPC, a lot of people will say our anti-graft agencies are overwhelmed. First of all, we have so many anti-graft agencies, and then they are already overwhelmed. We have the Bureau of Public Conduct, is that what it's called?
ICPC.
Yes, we have ICPC, we have the EFCC and all of that, and yet they are still overwhelmed. So the question would be, are they doing their jobs to ensure these public servants? We've heard stories where permanent secretaries will override the governor, the minister, the minister to get what they want done.
Yeah.
Because first of all,
they are the accounting officer.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so these things just go on, and the minister is oblivious of what's going on.
I said it. If you remember, just a moment ago, I said that in those offices, these are civil servants. They are like the engine. You are the driver. The minister is the driver. So the civil servants are the engine. So you need to be very careful to examine, you check your engine early in the morning before you kickstart the vehicle. So if you don't do that, you'll be knocked down in the middle of the road. You understand? That is just the practical analogy to this fact. And again, you discover that in this country, you have so many processes that are not margin. For instance, you have what they call NAIM, you have what they call BVN. Can't we synchronize?
I mean,
can't we synchronize and harmonize them to be one
number, maybe
like
social security
social security number in the US, so that anywhere you are, your number is who you are.
Exactly.
You understand? Until when we
I
know
think
what we want.
I should pose that question to you. What are you doing to ensure that we synchronize or harmonize these numbers?
Is it what we are doing to ensure, or what we are doing to encourage?
Yes, what are you doing to encourage?
It's to sensitize the government.
Because it should be it should be just as important to you, it should be a priority to you to enhance transparency and accountability.
And that is
because
exactly
unfortunately we are having that public distrust when it comes to public office holders. If you ask me now to submit a letter in any office, I will be very skeptical as to when the permanent secretary, if I am addressing it to the permanent secretary or whoever I am addressing it to. I'm very skeptical about when it would even get the attention of anybody. And that's not good for any nation and productivity. We should have a vibrant community or society where people can say, I want my minister to look into this, and I'm writing to him to do that. And I don't necessarily have to have a brother that knows a sister that knows somebody that knows the minister, you know. So what is Pohan doing?
Well, what Pohan can always do, like I said earlier, is to continue to encourage. We cannot enforce. We can encourage to get the best out of people that have been elected or appointed in offices. And we are doing that through capacity building and sensitization to orientate our people, through general orientation of our people and training. So, but we must understand that the government coming to office also have an agenda. But unknowing to some government will come on board and cabal will take over the government and be running their own. Are
we still talking cabal in the Tinubu administration?
They are cabal everywhere. They are cabal everywhere.
I mean, that was something that characterized the past administration.
Oh, they are cabal everywhere.
Right.
So when you get to the office, you cannot be everywhere. Your eyes cannot be everywhere. Somebody nominated you. Somebody submitted your name. And you must do the bidding of that person.
Right.
So they are cabal everywhere.
Okay, so it's time to go for a short break. We'll be right back after this. Who are those beautiful ones that should be born? There are cabals everywhere, but who loves Nigeria enough to make that change? We'll be right back. This is still Joy Asonye Live. Welcome back from that break. Now, considering the current statistics on the low levels of public access to information in Nigeria, what are legislative or policy measures taking to pursue to promote transparency and accountability, such as enacting a Freedom of Information Act or strengthening existing laws in this regard? Well, that's what we'll be delving to. We've been talking about enhancing accountability and transparency when it comes to public servants, public office holders. And in the studio, the person who's been discussing all of this is Dr. M.D. Eseyin. He's the National President, Pohan, that's the Public Office Holders Association of Nigeria. He's also the President, PALMI, which is Pan-African Leadership and Management Institute. We've been talking about public service and how we can ensure accountability. But access to information is everything. I mean, if Nigerians do not know what's budgeted, the projects that are being enacted, how can they trace and ensure accountability? Last question would go to my guest who's been here. Thank you so much for being with us all the while.
Thank you. It's actually PALM-I.
PALM-I,
yes.
Not PALM-me.
No, PALM-I.
Right,
yes.
PALM-I.
Yes.
Okay, that's PALM-I, Pan-African Leadership and Management Institute.
Yes.
Right, now, what are we doing to get access to information? I think that's the first step. Because very often when we talk about ensuring accountability and transparency, we talk about how citizens should get involved in governance so that they even know what they are asking a government for. But when there is no access to information, it's a big problem.
Effort in futility.
Effort in futility.
What I think the government should do generally is to digitalize all ministry. And you will observe that anytime there are issues of corruptions or fraud in any office, probably the following morning you see the place is burned down. It's burned down. So, if nothing is done, can you build something or nothing?
Right. You're right about that.
So the right thing to do is to digitalize it. So that even if you are in America, you can
have access
to it. Like I said, people aspiring to be in offices know what to do. But because of the high cost of getting to that office, they also cut corners to ensure that whatever money is spent should be recouped back to where they got it from. Otherwise, if you are in Ministry A, I don't need to drive some distance from Ministry A to Ministry Z to get all the information that I need. Just a tap on my system, I should be able to get them. You go to this office, submit a letter, it should be scanned and sent to the appropriate quarters. So those in the department will see that this is information that is needed and kept as same. But in the situation where we are still using file in this era of digitalization, so what do you expect? What do you expect? So the information bill, so to speak, was passed, but how effective is this this stuff we are talking about? How effective, how potent is the law ensuring that the masses get information they need? You understand? Until the right things are done, I kept saying, otherwise we will continue hovering around.
I mean, we keep talking about the right things to be done.
Yes.
Associations such as yourself, they are civil society organizations.
Yes.
It doesn't seem to be holding water with all the advocacy that has been done. Why is it that when it comes to private sector, it's easy to digitalize? Why is it such a hurdle?
And those people in those offices, when they come to the office, when they come to government, office, they do contrary.
Exactly, they do contrary. But that is also because of what you said earlier, which is that if there are no punitive measures,
yes,
if there are no implications to actions,
yes.
Ideally everything it's a jungle.
Yes.
Why is it taking government so much time? Is it the political will that is lacking?
Yeah, political will is one. Secondly, bureaucracy in government is huge. It is not like government, it is not like private establishment whereby you send to the MD and immediately it come back. In the public office, you write to the minister will mail it to the PAMSEC, the PAMSEC will mail it to the director in charge, the director in charge will mail it to the manager, the officers, level, whatever it is, and then it goes down that way. That is why when you discover when El-Rufai was in government as the Minister of FCT at the time, you know, he assembled some consultants to work with. You understand? And that is why you see some people are craving for overthrow of government, because they believe that when you are in the military, you can do and undo by decree. But here, there are certain things, there are limitations to what the president can do. There are limitations to what the National Assembly can do. In some cases, for instance, they've been trying to pass the law giving total, absolute control to local government and absolute control to legislative arm of government. Talking about the state. But how fair have we gone? Because those people in the House of Assembly were put there by some people. Especially
the governors who they are subservient to. No, it's okay to mention. This is Joy Asonye Live. I'm sure you can mention it. Yeah. A lot of them are subservient to the governors, and the governors want to total control of the local
of the House of
government.
Assembly, even when they said that they are separate from the government, executive.
No.
You understand?
Right.
But they still don't have right to question the governor how they are being how to perform their functions as being elected. So what am I saying? The fact still remains that there are limitations in all sectors. There are limitations. And the president cannot just use his veto power to say either the governor or the House of Assembly
because
wants...
the state houses of assembly have to gazette and pass that
and
bill
pass the law
for
as it's
autonomy for local government.
Or 1/3. No, 2/3.
Yeah.
Must pass it before they themselves can have autonomy. They are fighting for you to have an autonomy. Then
When
you
they
are
don't
conniving.
even they don't even share the autonomy. They are at the mercy of what the governor asks them. The
Yes.
bill the governor wants to be
Yes.
passed.
So then, how then can you expect the best from such assemblies? Are you getting it? So until there are laws that will ensure that certain actions should be done. And again, I think some of these things are just blessing in disguise. So just for instance, some government are craving for state police. Just imagine what will happen in some states if the governor are given state police. It means that anybody against the party of the governor must not enter the state.
I mean, during elections, it was obvious what was going on. I mean,
Yes.
the opposition were not given an opportunity to even campaign in the state, in
At all.
spite of what the Constitution and the Electoral Act
Has
say.
mapped out, yes. So what are we saying? We have a whole lot to. We are not praying that the military took over, God forbid, but it is easier to serve the people through that means than through democracy. Because through democracy, you have to go through the processes. But when you are there as the was head of state, you'd do and undo, you'd set a decree, and certain things will be done. So, like when Erufai got to government, what did he do? He ensured that those ministries that will be a bottleneck to his performance, he pushed them aside and got a consultant to work with in those ministries. And I think Wiki is trying to do the same thing, telling them that any offices that is holding on to his file within 24 hours, we go for it. I think that's another step in the good direction.
Well, it is something commendable. Now, Nigeria now ranks 145 out of 180 countries on Transparency International 2023 Corruption Perception Index, up 5 spots when juxtaposed with previous year's ratings. In 2023 Corruption Perception Index released on Tuesday, Nigeria scores 25 out of 100 points. And you just mentioned that these changes has to come from a lot of sectors that are already problematic, you know, and need that salvaging.
Yes.
So what should be done? What should the citizens start doing? It's unfortunate that during elections they compromised.
It starts from there.
Yes, unfortunately they have compromised.
That starts from there.
But that's not to say that they do not have the moral standing to demand.
It has been bought.
No, I'm sure they still have.
Has been bought.
So
it has been bought.
So the ship has sailed.
Sadly, yes.
The ship has sailed. There's nothing that can be done.
You can't. I can't engage you to work for me, and you are being paid in full, and then when I get there, you have a say. You don't. You don't. I think the whole thing starts from that process of our electioneering, how to sensitize our people, and you won't blame them because they improvise them. And they feel that, okay, what if I want to get? Let me get it now.
Let me get it. If I don't get it now,
I'll
remain impoverished all 4 years.
So in the next 4 years, let me get whatever I can get. And that's why you see them, in some cases, we've been alleged that we bought vote for 10,000 per vote. So it means that vote of 10,000, that is 10,000 we spent in the next 4 years. Even if there is no road to your house, even if there is no medical services, you don't care. You have gotten the 10,000. So it should start from there. Then people will not see reason why we can hold our public office into account. You understand? Except that it's like going, to rigmarole the whole process. But until the right thing is done by electorate to know that sending people to office is to demand accountability from them. Therefore, do not ask for anything than the best. And again, get to know the manifesto of anybody you want to. That is coming up. It's very important. So by the time you get such people in office and what they have proposed are not done, you have the right to question them. Anything sort of that, it will be very difficult. It will be very difficult, to say the least.
But what access to these public office holders do Nigerians still have after elections? You say you can hold them and all of that.
That is what I'm saying. I cannot engage you to work for me. And after I paid you, I get to that office, you are still demanding for certain services. So, are you trying to tell me that after paying you, I will still be servicing you even while in that office? And again, Nigerians take personal interest over public interest. You understand? If you look at the public interest, like good health services, good policing, talking about security for instance, over giving him money to buy clothes, giving him money to buy the recharge card, giving him money I have not eaten, then you cannot begin to demand for the best. So the interest will be a general interest, not personal interest. Do you understand what I'm saying? So be general interest. Somebody you are electing to office, you are expecting him to give you a health system, the best health system that you can get there anytime you want.
But instead of asking for this, we often go and you know, what can I get right now?
Right now, to buy the recharge card. Perhaps get money to also finance my SSs, personal SSs. You understand?
And these people, if they do not comply, they will not be voted in the next time. And so what would they do? They continue.
That is why they have constituency offices across the state. But those constituency offices is just where they can also go to demands for personal needs, not, you know, general needs. They are two different things. Personal need and personal
national interest.
They are two different things. They are two different things.
My wife is pregnant, she will soon give birth. My child has to pay for YAP.
And if you ask them, what are they doing? Of course, before you put anybody into family way, there has to be plans, right?
I mean, you have... it just reminded me of somebody who would insist that... I mean, I don't know, he never helps anybody whose excuses. My wife just gave birth. My wife is about to give... You have 9 months to prepare for that. Right?
So except you are not doing anything before that month, God forbid, of course, there are some cases that are beyond controls. Are you getting it? But it should not be general. It should not be general to say that, okay, anytime you want, even some nowadays, they want to wed, they don't have money, they're asking for people to sponsor their wedding. So invariably, you know that when you sponsor such occasions, when they give birth, you must sponsor naming.
You would also sponsor
a lot.
The child's schooling as
well.
But these are all the pressures that are put into our public officers.
That's it.
Office holders, rather.
That's it. So by the time they do all of this, and then they come back to you again for vote. If you don't do all of this, when you come back, they say you are wicked.
Okay, so for these past elections, we thought there was that revolution for something, for change. We thought the young people had for once stood up to say, you know, we wanted different. Would you say that we are moving to this promised land where we will not have electorates demand for money over ideas that would develop the nation?
Well, people were yearning for change. And the change people believe is the logo of the party.
They forgot that it was the individual.
It's individual. When you are saying, okay, we have tried Goodluck Jonathan, so PDP is not good, we don't want PDP again, then you say, okay, it's Buhari. When Buhari was there in 1980 something, he did this, he did that, he did this. Forgetting that when Buhari was there, he was not elected. So the two cannot be compared. So the euphoria of the fact that, okay, we don't want this party again, it should be this party was there. The other thing that was there was, okay, is the turn of the South, not the North.
So sentiments that aren't even important.
They're not even important. It is not when you get there, the naira will turn to this. It is not when you get there, you get to the police station, the police is not asking you to pay for file or asking you to pay for bail. You have to get what I'm saying. It is not when you get there in about 5 kilometers, you will see a health center, or probably on the road, you will see fire service. You understand? It is not, those are not what, you know, they be put to account. The Southeast are saying that they've not been there before, that they want somebody to be there. Not minding whoever is coming from that side. The North are saying they still want to maintain the office. Yeah. You understand? The Southwest are saying that, okay, this person have tried that in Lagos, tried this and that in Lagos, he can come and replicate same in the Central. You understand? So, until, like I said, we determine what we want, until we are able to, you know, sift and check what we actually want from our elected officers, we continue to run in a circle. We continue to run in a circle. And it is important that when you want the best, you go for the best. You want the best, you go for the best. If you want the one that has the best, the bag of funds, then you get it. People that can sponsor your needs. So when you get it, what do you expect them to do?
Okay, so that we are not very bleak and we have light at the end of the tunnel, you know, what should citizens start raising up to do at the moment?
Well, I think generally we should start developing ourselves. Capacity orientation is very good. When you are not educated, you don't know what you want. I think you should start from there. Ensuring that every household, we don't have illiterate. When you don't have illiterate and they know what they want, they will know the essence of putting people into power without gratification. Yes. Yeah. So we need to educate our wants, because they grow into adults. You are not telling me that those people that voted for Buhari, those that couldn't vote for Buhari then, didn't vote for Tinubu?
Of course.
Are you getting it now? So until we start from family unit, educating our people, the right thing to do, that is when we can get it right. You cannot just, a dry fish cannot be bent. A dry fish cannot be bent.
It will break.
It will break. So we need to start from family units, you know, then you mold them into adults where they can now determine what they want.
Right.
I think that is the best place to start.
Okay, well, that's a good one, and I'm happy you've given us that very important advice. We have to start educating ourselves.
Yes.
And the young people especially should know what's happening in governance and know the ills and love the country above everything, so that when they get there, they'll be different. Okay, moving on. This is where we draw the curtains. We've been discussing enhancing accountability and transparency in public office, and we've been discussing all of this with Dr. M.D. Eseyin. He's the national president, POHAN, that's the Public Office Holders Association of Nigeria. He's also the president, PALM-I.
Yeah,
I got that right. Yeah. PALM-I, which is Pan-African Leadership and Management Institute. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
The pleasure is always mine.
Yes.
And thank you, the viewers.
My name is Joy Asonye, and this is where we end today's program. Rest assured, we'll be back tomorrow with so much more. Do have a wonderful evening.